right, for this lesson, we're doing identifying rational and irrational numbers. This is IXL NV6. And a little bit of vocabulary real quick. Rational numbers can be written as a ratio of two numbers. For example, 1.5 is rational because it can be written as 3 over 2. An irrational number is a real number that cannot be written as a simple fraction. And there are several examples in math. There's only a couple that we're going to look at in 8th grade. But as you get farther in your math education, you'll find there are more constants like pi that are irrational. So again, 1/5 can be written as a ratio of 3 over 2. So 2 will go into 3 1.5 times. So that's what a ratio is there, the fraction. Pi never ends. It's estimated usually, if we use it in calculations, 3.14 gives us a good approximation, but it never ends and it never repeats. That's key. Never ends and never repeats. So some other examples. 1.75 can be written as a fraction or a ratio, so it's rational. 0.01 can be written as a fraction, so it's rational. But the square root of 2 cannot be written as a fraction. It comes out as a non-repeating, non-terminating decimal, so it is irrational. As a matter of fact, the square root of any number that's not a perfect square, not a whole number, is going to be irrational. So if you type in the square root of some number in your calculator and you get a decimal, it is going to, even though your calculator terminates after a certain number of decimal places, it is irrational. So keep that in the back of your mind for trivia in the future. All right, so let's look at a few examples. I don't think there's anything in this IXL that is profoundly tricky. Basically, it's just making sure you understand the definition between rational and irrational. You do have to read the question carefully because it does interchange the words. So even though this is a rational number, you need to read the question very carefully, as we'll see. So is -10 a rational number? Can we write -10 as a fraction? -10 over 1. Yes. That one's pretty straightforward. Any whole number is a rational number. All right, is 2.49 an irrational number? So you got to watch how they word it. It's tricky. So first of all, let's find out, is it rational or irrational? Well, it turns out that repeating decimals are rational. So this is not irrational. So be careful with the wording because this is rational. And I probably spelled that wrong, but and you can make it into a fraction. How do you change repeating decimals into fractions? Whatever part is repeating, instead of putting that over, normally if it was 0.49, we would put it over 100. If it's repeating like this, whatever part is repeating, you put over 99 instead of 100. And that will give you your, in this case, a mixed number, but mixed numbers are also rational. All right, and then after you get up a little higher in the problems, you'll start getting multiple choices where you have to read, you have to figure out, some are single answer and some are multiple answer. So just be very careful there. So it's which of the following is a rational number? And again, read the question very carefully because they interchange them, and you have to be careful with the wording. Like on this one here, this one says, is it rational? Yes. This one says, is it irrational? So you want to say no. So you got to be careful with the wording. So which of the following is a rational number? Well, pi is never rational. The square root of 23 does not come out to be a whole number. It's not a perfect square, so it is not rational. Square root of 12, there are no two whole numbers that multiply together to be 12, so that is irrational. And 65 is an integer, so that is the only one of these four that is a rational number.